Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Last Stop Waterfowl Outdoors podcast. I'm your host, Jacob Robery. And guys, I hope you are all having a great week this week. We are excited to be back with you for another episode and to be talking duck hunting, man. We are getting fired up. I know we've been talking about that every week, about how we're super excited for duck season to kick off here in Louisiana. And been busy, man. Just been busy this week. Everything work-related. It's been a long week, I have to admit. I had a couple of cold beverages when we knocked off yesterday. They were very well-deserved after a long work week, like many of you probably went through this week. And we decided to kick back yesterday when we got home and try to watch our LSU Tigers, which we have a lot of news and a lot of a lot of stuff out there right now around our state's football team. So it was a little disappointing to see us lose to Ole Miss yesterday, but man, you know what? It's still better. Anytime it's football season, that means it's hunting season, and it's still better to take a loss and be able to watch some football and knock back some beers and have a good time, just relax. So it's always a good time of year whenever that's able to happen. But I hope y'all all doing okay. Like I mentioned, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed last week's episode. We got a lot of good feedback from people asking questions, which we always encourage on our social media platforms. Thank you guys for tuning in to the show, whether you tuned in on Apple Podcasts or it could have been Spotify. Several of you told me you listening to the show on. We appreciate it. We really do appreciate it. And we always encourage you guys to reach out to us if you have questions, or hey, if you want to just prove us wrong in general. We talk about something, and I catch myself. I go back when I listen to episodes every week that we do, and I catch little mistakes that I made or facts that I threw out there that were incorrect. So, hey, we're not perfect. We do this for fun and to talk duck hunting and outdoors with you guys, and we're gonna make some mistakes. So just let us know if we do it. Let us know if you disagree with something. It's always good to encourage that extra chat and us and discussing things. So we really enjoy that. So, but this week, guys, we're sitting, like you can see right here, if you're tuning in on our YouTube channel, watching this, we're sitting right here. We're on the back porch again at my home in Gonzales, Louisiana. Beautiful morning. We have some cool temperatures this morning. Not as cool as what next week's looking like, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But we do have a nice cool morning this morning, a little overcast this morning. And we're just going to sit down with you guys for the next hour or so, and we're going to talk duck hunting. We have a guest on the show with us this week, Mr. Roland Cortez, who's a good friend of mine, and who you guys, if you listen to us for episode 1 of season 4 this year that we kicked off with Roland, we had Roland on the show with us, and he brings a lot of waterfowl expertise to you guys to be able to listen to and us to discuss. Roland's been around the block, man. He has been guiding here in Louisiana and Arkansas for damn near 30 to 40 years almost. So he's been at it a long time. And he's been all over. He has a lot of knowledge of waterfowl hunting down south, and he could share a lot of information with you guys. And, you know, him and I have struck up a relationship where we talk on a weekly basis a couple of times a week. And he told me, he said, Jacob, he said, I'd like to come back on the show. He said throughout the season, he said, and I could give some updates on what I'm seeing in the field, and we'll just talk duck hunting. So that's what we're doing this morning, guys. We're sitting here with you, drinking a good cup of coffee on the back porch here at my home, and we're going to have Roland join us, and we're going to talk duck hunting. So without further ado, guys, let me go ahead, and I'm going to bring him in with us. I see him in the green room right now. He's sitting there chilling up in North Louisiana right now, and he's going to be coming to us from Dave's Bayou Lodge and Outfitter, which is where he's located at right now, and doing some guiding and some preparation for this upcoming duck season. So we're going to go ahead and bring him in. So just hold on one second. Let me see if I can get Roland to join us. Roland, good morning, buddy.
Morning, Jacob. How are you, man?
Good, man. You're looking good, buddy. You like me, you chilling outside, it looks like, on the back porch, maybe?
Yeah, I'm on the 3rd floor of the lodge at Dave's Bayou this morning in Mangham, Louisiana.
Man, I have to say, some people got living the life. Some people got it good.
Man, I'm going to tell you like I tell everybody else, Jacob, I'm living the dream.
Living the dream. I hear you say that, and then every week when I talk to you, you somewhere and you really are living the dream. So I'm jealous of you, buddy. I'm glad for you though. Somebody got to do it.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm glad it's me too.
I don't blame you, man. Well, I was telling all the listeners that are tuning in, I said, we're coming. You are live right now talking to us at Dave's Bayou Lodge and Outfitter. So you in North Louisiana. Of course, I'm down here in South Louisiana in Gonzales. So for all the listeners who aren't familiar with Dave's Bayou Lodge and Outfitters, what exactly is that?
Dave's Bayou is a nice, 5-star lodging up in Mangham, Louisiana, which is around Winsboro and a little bit south of Rayville and Monroe. It's right smack, in the middle of the Beth River. You got the Tensas, Mississippi. Every bird that comes into Louisiana funnels through this little bottleneck of agricultural land right here in the northern part of the state.
Yeah, that's kind of a pinch point for all the birds to come through.
That's right. And besides, duck and goose hunting here, I mean, they do exotics like red stag. They got big whitetail here, 240 class whitetails here. So there's a lot of stuff going on here at Dave's Bayou.
Yeah, sounds like it, man. You now I know you're doing some guiding. You're helping out with the guiding on waterfowl. Do you also do some deer guiding as well, or what's the situation for you?
I'll probably dab a little bit into that.
Yeah, a little bit into
it. I'm mostly into it for the ducks and the geese.
Yeah, of course, man. Well, what's been going on, man? I know you and I have chatted online throughout the last couple of weeks. We last time we got together, we were talking. It was right around middle part of teal season, I believe. And since then, now we're a little bit closer to big duck season opening. I know you're excited. I'm excited. I think we all excited if we listening to the show this morning. So what's been going on? What you seeing out there?
We're probably 7,000 to 10,000 speckled bellies on the farm. We just started putting farm on Wednesday, so we're just getting water on it. But there's ducks showing up. We've seen some mallards, lots of teal, pintails, gray ducks. Shovelers. Look, I'm looking right now. They got about 6 gadwalls circling this rice field right here by the lodge. So I mean, there's ducks showing up, but the geese have showed up in good numbers. And with this next front coming in next week, I'm thinking by us putting more water on the farm, I mean, the ducks will show up big time, next week with this next front. But every day we're seeing more and more ducks here.
So that sounds pretty promising. Looking at the forecast, that's a good point. I just pulled up my weather because you know how it is; it changes every day. So I pulled up the forecast for next week, and I know here in Gonzales, which where you are, probably get a little bit milder temperatures, but here in Gonzales, we're showing towards the end of the weekend, right around Halloween, going to be in the upper 40s. So that's promising.
I've seen here, I think next Friday is going to be like 47 here, but next weekend, Arkansas has their early speckled belly season, so I'm heading up to Arkansas next weekend to shoot some speckled bellies.
Okay. Yeah, where y'all going in Arkansas?
I'm going to Stuttgart. We're going to be shooting. Yeah, we're going to be going shooting a TV show for Bayou Wild TV.
Gotcha.
We are doing the first annual Cajun Invasion speckled belly hunt.
That's right. I remember last time we talked with everybody, we shared some information on that. And that seems like an awesome trip for people to be able to participate in. Did y'all I know you were close to booking it last time.
We full. I mean, we kind of limited to 20 guns. That way there we can only hunt 2 groups. But we're full up, and everybody's chomping at the bit to get up there. The reports and pictures and videos I've seen of the speckled bellies up there are just unreal. For some reason, man, these speckled bellies keep showing up earlier and earlier every year, and they're showing up about a week earlier than what they did the year before. But so it's looking very promising for next weekend. So be prepared to see a lot of dead speckled bellies pictures next weekend.
Well, that's awesome, man. That's good to hear because you know what? I'm hearing reports all across the state where a lot of specks are showing up early. You're not the only one that I've heard that from. So that's a good sign, man. That's really a good sign for duck season that's going to be opening up here next month as well.
And a lot of the birds I'm seeing here, and you'll hear me use the phrase chicken a lot. What I call a chicken is a speckled belly with no bar. And typically when you see a speckled belly with no bar, means it's a young bird. Now, that's not necessarily so because we've shot banded specks already that we thought were chickens, young birds, and it come to turn out they were 14-year-old specks. So when you hear me say the term chicken, it's meaning a speck with no bar. So
Okay.
I've seen a lot of birds the last couple of days with no bars on them. So meaning that they're younger birds. But like I said, going back to the band surveys, that doesn't necessarily mean so.
Yeah.
But it's looking good. Like I said, a lot of the pintails we're seeing here that don't have their colors yet, but you can tell they're pintails by the white and the long necks. And we're seeing quite a bit of blue wing teals. We only seen, I know yesterday we were riding around the farm. We jumped 4 or 5 mallards, but it's mostly just, early season ducks, teal, gray ducks, pintails, and, a few shovelers. But we don't have a lot of water on the farm. But this morning, the water is starting to show up pretty good last night. So it'll probably take us, 2 or 3 weeks to get its full capacity because we've managed the farm, expanded the farm more. We've got a couple green tree reservoirs this year that we're going to be able to hunt in September. So we're going to flood all that too this year.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I can imagine once that water comes in, the birds will really start showing up for y'all up there, So that's promising.
And then it's super dry too, Jacob, up here, man. It's like a dust bowl up here. And anywhere there's water up here, man, these ducks will pile up pretty thick. And if it stays dry for the opener, I mean, we're gonna limit out really early because this is the only water around here.
Yeah, it's crazy how much of a difference, Roland, there was between North Louisiana versus where we are down south. We had a wet summer, man, especially early on. We had a lot of rainfall, but I have friends up north that hunt in the fields, and they said, man, when we were getting all that rain, they weren't getting all the precipitation that we were getting.
Because they barely got any up here. They give a chance Wednesday like 60%. They're hoping to get a little bit. That way, it'll help on the flooding part.
Yeah, that bring in some of that water for you. So
right, the rain will dampen the dirt some, and that dirt's not going to suck up all that water.
Yeah,
that we're pumping.
Oh, that makes sense. Well, okay, so you talked about forming practices of days. Like what type of crops and stuff are y'all planning for waterfowl up there? What's the situation up there?
Well, Dave's Bayou is a farm. They plant rice, soybeans, and corn, but we also we plant millet in our rest areas for ducks, and then it's WRP, CRP land, so they're definitely setting it up,
for
perfect,
waterfowl.
For waterfowl, and they manage. Like I said, now we got all this green tree reservoir that we've got, planned that we're pumping up, and the future looks very bright for Dave's Bayou as far as having different places to hunt.
Well, something, Dave's Bayou, I heard about it really whenever you started talking about it this year. I had never really been, introduced to that name. How long have they been in business for?
Dave's Bayou has been in business since 2017 as far as Dave's Bayou, but before they kind of just leased blinds to hunters up here.
Okay.
And now they turned it into a lodge and outfitter, and it's a 5-star lodging. I mean, it's a nice place.
From the pictures I've seen and what you posted on social media every day, it looks like a absolutely beautiful place. In North Louisiana, man, I mean, it seems through the years as the waterfowl hunting has kind of declined, North Louisiana tends to hold pretty strong. That's always a great place. Like you said, it's a pinch point for those waterfowl to come and migrate down. They got to come through those areas. And where y'all are seems to be located in a very, very good area. I know, traditionally over the years, Honey Break, places like that have always done real well. And the whole lodging thing has really started to boom now. You see a lot of places now in Louisiana popping up and starting to open up that are, destination places for hunters to come down to Louisiana and be able to hunt and lodge. It's really a nice setup whenever you visit those places.
We're still probably an hour and 30 minutes north of Honey Break. Catahoula's to the south of us about an hour 30 minutes. So we're probably crow's fly maybe an hour and something from the Arkansas line. If you look at Rayville and Monroe, you go straight south of Rayville, you'll see Mangham. We're right, like I said, we got Beth River, Tensas, Mississippi. Everything's kind of right here. Everything pinch points right through here.
Yep. And Beth's an area that I've had some experience. We've hunted there, several years we've hunted there. That used to be a trip, Roland, that we take up there when we'd hunt public land. We'd go to Beth and hunt public land up there, and I always enjoyed it. We did real well up there. That was one of the WMAs that we always shot quite a bit of birds for opening weekends of duck season.
And I've hunted Beth a little bit last year, but the water got kind of high. It was good, it wasn't as it wasn't as good as years past, but we still did good.
Yeah. Yep. And it's like everything else. It's public that it fluctuates. So some years it's better than others, It's better than others. So what else has been going on, man? I know last time we had you on, we talked about kind of the outlook for the season coming up. I mean, now seeing what you've seen so far this, between teal season and where we are now, what are we expecting? What can we expect as Louisiana waterfowl hunters this year, in your opinion?
We'll start with Canada. Where everybody was kind of worried about the breeding population, which we don't have the data. We've got 2 years of missing data on our breeding counts, but the reports I'm getting from Canada is that, man, the duck hunting was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I had some buddies of mine. They were in North Dakota last week, and they shot mallards, and speckled bellies and Canada geese, just about every day. Said there was no shortage of ducks. So if we stay dry like it is now, it could be one of these seasons like 97 or 98 when it was dry and the ducks just went all the way to the coast, because Missouri's dry. All these other states are kind of dry to the north of us. So I'm predicting that when the ducks do show up, I mean, the marsh hunting should be good too, with all this. And I think the first split should be really good for everybody.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I've been following, all the reports from up north, the seasons that are opening up, and they are seeing good numbers of birds for the most part. The good sign, and you kind of touched on this a while ago, is juvenile birds. They are seeing, good numbers of juvenile birds that are showing up and being killed. And I know that was a big concern for a lot of the predictions early season because of the drought up north and the potholes and, a lot of the birds having to go to the boreal forest in that area. They were worried about seeing juvenile birds this year, but it seems like they are killing good numbers of juvenile birds, so that's a good sign.
But, Jacob, I am worried about these 2 years of no data, man. Because we're going to have a lot of missing information on breeding count, because when they're going to do this thing, maybe next year, and they do the breeding count and it's extremely low, we can go into a restrictive season really quick like this. I don't like not having 2 years of data on these ducks.
Yeah, I was talking with a buddy of mine, Roland, the other day, and he said that we were talking about the same situation. He's worried. He said, man, I'm real worried about them lowering the limits and stuff like that, what we could take.
Some of these biologists that I've been talking to are kind of worried about it too, because, the last couple of years, man, the juvenile birds have not been here. So yeah. I really do think we're having a low breeding count.
You think the low breeding, in your opinion, the low breeding situation, you think it's a drought issue is what's causing it?
That's what I'm thinking too. That this drought up there is hurting the juvenile birds. They're not breeding, not having enough young, because in order for Louisiana to have, a good season, we have to have a lot of juvenile birds. And that's why, in the 90s, when the ducks number started to go up, Louisiana was killing so many ducks for us because we had all these juvenile birds. And right now, from what like last year and years past, all you're killing is adult birds. And you can tell because these birds are hard to work. They're hard to kill. They're hard to hunt.
Yeah.
And it just makes it tough on the hunting. And, everybody likes to talk about January being good to duck hunting. Man, January is always tough to kill ducks because you're shooting adult birds, man. I mean, they've seen it all. And, and that's why I like to hunt early. I mean, the earlier the season opens for me, the better it is. I mean,
yeah. Yeah, you made a point of that last time we talked. You kind of brought something to my attention that I wasn't thinking about. You said everybody wants to talk about January. And growing up, that's how it was coming up. It seemed like in Louisiana, January was always solid. It seemed like that's when we get our big push of more birds and more birds coming into the state. So traditionally, I always heard my dad and them growing up saying, hey, January, second split's where it's at. That's where you want to really buckle down. You want to hunt hard. You want to focus on getting those limits. And then when I talked to you, when we had episode 1 this season, you said, hey, I throw all that out the window. I want to jump on them first split. First split's always better than the second split. And yeah, you made a really good point, because I noticed it over the last several years, and all of us listening could probably agree with that. Those birds in the second split, there's less of them, it seems like nowadays. And B, if they are there, they're a lot harder to kill. They're a lot harder to work. They're much more educated. I've termed it as being educated birds, and that's the truth. I do agree with you on that.
Now, Jacob, my opinion differs from everybody else, and everybody's got their own opinion. But I've been keeping duck records, man, on my numbers since '95, I think, that I've got. And I've always shot more ducks first split than second split. I'll hunt the same amount of days, but I've always shoot more ducks. And why? Because there's more juvenile birds. We hunt in the marsh, man, or whatever, and there's we don't typically kill a lot of mallards in the marsh at that time. We were killing some, but it was mostly gray ducks and green-winged teal and blue-winged teal. But once I started headed up to Arkansas, January used to be good. I used to wait for December, mid-December into January, because that's when you get your biggest push of mallards up there. But, man, these last several years, January has been tough in Arkansas. And, my best hunts will come in November and December before Christmas. We'll shoot the most mallards. And after that, these ducks are tough to kill. They become nocturnal. They feed at night, and you can't kill a duck that feeds at night. And then the only time you'll have a good hunt day is when it's raining. It could be sunny in the morning, and in the afternoon, the rain will come. You'll go to that same field, and there'll be thousands of ducks in that field. And it's just because that these ducks know that they pattern humans, and a duck might have a brain the size of a pea, man, but they'll pattern a human in a heartbeat.
Yeah, and you're starting to see that more and more every year, and there's something you mentioned about, as far as, becoming nocturnal, that, man, they becoming like pigs, it seems like, or, deer that move at night. The ducks seem to be doing that now more and more because of the hunting pressure, I'm assuming,
That's right. That's right. Hunting pressure, the biological clock of a duck, will make a duck do that, because on these full moons, and then these ducks know, boom, I'm getting shot in the morning. I need to move midday. I mean, it doesn't take hard for an animal to figure out what humans do.
Yeah.
And I preach this all the time, Jacob, that pressure management is key today into holding and killing ducks, man. You got to have more than one place to hunt. And I know it's hard to say that when you hunt public land, but when you hunt public land, man, you can move around a lot. You don't hunt the same spot. Like when I'm hunting public land, I may not hunt the same spot twice in a week or even twice in a month, because when I'm hunting public land, I'm scouting for the next day. I'm finding a better spot to hunt.
Yeah, and that's a very good tip for those who are trying to get into it, that are going to be hunting public land this year. Stay moving, stay mobile. You may not be able to hunt the same hole because you have success in it one day. The next 2 or 3 hunts, you're going to have to go out and you're going to have to find something new.
Now, at Dave Bayou, they have we guide out of 4 pits here.
Okay.
We don't run more than 3 groups a day. So, but we have more options now. We very seldom we're running more than 2 groups. We'll run 3 groups a day, but we run 2 guides per pit. You hunt the 30-foot pit. We got anywhere from 6 to 8 guns, but we pressure management each spot. We try not to hunt it every day. We'll mix and match. We'll pull numbers and stuff like that, because this place here, man, it's it's a flight day, but we also try to hold birds in, and I'm really happy by what they do here as far as trying to manage the ducks.
Yeah, it sounds like it. They're doing a good job of trying to keep that pressure off of those areas consistently every day.
Going back to me coming here, I met a friend of mine that works. He's the head guide here. Tater Gilly. He's the one that helped me here. I've been trying to get into Dave Bayou, man, for like 3 years now. Working at it and getting to know the owners here, and then finally the opportunity came for me to come here, and it was a perfect business decision for me to come here, man. It's a family atmosphere here. Everybody's friendly here, and it's just a great place to be.
That's good. Sounds like a pretty cool place, man. I'm glad for you that, like I mentioned, that you got on over there, because from what I've heard from you, and since then I've looked into it, and it seems like it's nothing but good people up there, and it's a good situation for you, man. But so, hey, something that I want to ask you, Roland, and this is up for debate. Of course, it's a question that everybody has an opinion on, but we were talking about weather conditions a while ago, each season changing. Now, traditionally, growing up, everybody wanted to have more cold weather down here in Louisiana. And I'm talking specifically Louisiana here when I ask you this. But traditionally fronts, you always grew up here and I want to hunt the front. I want to hunt, those birds that are coming in with a cold front. We need cold weather to get those birds here. But over the last probably 5 to 6 years, from my experience, some of the most successful days that I had hunting public land here in Louisiana have been on warm, kind of south wind days, and I want your take on that. What's your opinion as far as weather conditions and successful days that you've seen versus non-successful days with weather patterns here in Louisiana?
Well, I'm first off, I'll talk about, growing up, the weather-wise growing up. Growing up, everybody wanted the cold, strong north winds to hunt ducks. We were hunting mallards in the swamp, so that's what you wanted. But when I started breaking out, once we started hunting in the marsh, over the years, I've seen it change to where you don't want a north wind, you want a south wind. And another thing too, I noticed is that you don't want to hunt the day of you want to hunt a day or two prior to the front, and then a day or two after the front. And man, and you're like, well, why? Because the day the front's coming in, the wind's pushing hard north wind, the water's pushing out the marsh. So that means that the next day you ain't going to have any water in the marsh. So it's usually the day after or usually a day or two after the front passes that you want to go back. And I'm not saying that you couldn't kill ducks on the day of the front, because I've done it. But it just seems that the better hunting are 2 days prior to the front and then 2 days after the front. And it's why? Because the wind's coming out of the south. It'll blow to the north and then it'll shift again to the south.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, especially in the coastal areas.
Hunting, in Wax Lake or hunting a Chaffalaya River, you talk to these tugboat captains, there's ducks 4 and 5 miles offshore in the Gulf of Mexico. On a north wind, the ducks can get against the beach and not be affected by the north wind. But on the south wind, they got to get up, they got to go inshore because the wind's beating them up out there in the Gulf.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And then everybody says, man, well, what's a duck doing in the Gulf? He can't eat out there. A duck's not out there to eat. He's out there to get away from hunters.
Yeah, they're getting away from the pressure. That's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, man.
You've heard the reports through the years, like all you guys who hunt Wax Lake Outlet, you've seen it. Those ducks will move away from all the hunter pressure, and they'll go raft up out there in the middle of the water out there where there's no pressure on them. And that's what they're doing. And even in these reserves, Roland, all these reserves like Catahoula Lake and, Dewey Wills, all these places that have big water reservoirs around them, those birds learn, like you mentioned earlier, and they'll get up, at daybreak, and they'll fly to that open water and just raft up. That's what they tend to do.
And like I said, Jacob, I'm not saying I'm a professional, or whatever, but that's just stuff I've learned over the years from hunting. I don't want anybody to think that I'm some fancy duck hunter. I just knowledge that I've grown over the years. Everybody's opinion is different on ducks, and what they do in different areas you hunt, but it's just stuff I've picked up over the years and learned,
Yep. Well, and I'm rolling off the top of my head questions that people ask and just stuff that we debate. As far as Louisiana goes, number one species of ducks that you see in Louisiana over the last decade, what is it?
Man, gadwalls are always Louisiana's number one duck. Gadwalls and green-winged teal, pretty much the everyday duck when you're hunting in the marsh.
Yep.
Yep. That's the first thing you'll probably shoot in the marsh besides, green-winged teal, and I love me some Mech-Mechs, and I love me some Tat-Tats when they're out there in the marsh.
I hear you on that.
There ain't nothing like a gray duck in the morning, man. Bam, 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 bam.
Oh, I know, man. Gadwall is, and that's become, I agree with you. I think gadwall is the number one species that we see here in Louisiana now. A lot of the old time guys, they say the mallards, where that was the king.
It was. Growing up, hunting in the swamps of Louisiana in them, 80s when I was a youngster. Mallards was king, man. Mallards and wood ducks were the two ducks you shot every day. A gray duck and anything else was a bonus duck. You'd go in there at the time. Was a restrictive. It was 3 ducks. You'd go in there, shoot your 3 drakes, or 2 drakes in a hen. Whatever you wanted to shoot that morning. Or if you didn't want to shoot. You only wanted to shoot 1 or 2 ducks. You'd go in there, you shoot your ducks, and you'd leave. And mallards was king back in them days. And it's hard to think that mallards don't come to Louisiana anymore like they used to.
No, you just don't see the numbers that we
And
had at one time.
I'm not a mallard shooter, Jacob. Don't get me wrong. I love to shoot mallards, and everybody likes them green heads. But man, I'm a pintail and widgeon type of man. I love pintails and widgeon. I'll shoot them every day, all day long.
Yep, that's your ducks that you like. Yeah, Jackson. It's funny. Jackson, my son. Jackson now, and you got to know him, and he that's his bucket list bird rolling this year. He wants a widgeon. That's what he's telling me. Yeah, he said, Dad. He said, if I don't care if the season's not a great season, he said, I just want to kill a widgeon this year. And where we hunt in the Chaffalot Basin up at where our camp's at, Sherb and all those areas, we do get some widgeon up in that area. So I have a widgeon on the wall right now at the camp that I killed a few years back, a beautiful Drake widgeon. And I told him, I said, you have a chance there to kill him. But you're starting to see more and more widgeon now. It seems like a lot of the widgeon go to Texas now. Every year the numbers in Texas on widgeon are pretty high. That seems to be where a lot of those birds go.
Yeah, and looking back at my records, we used to shoot a good amount of widgeons, in the 90s and into the early 2000s. Now, being that I don't hunt the marsh as much, I mean, like hunting in these fields in Arkansas and everywhere else, they shoot a good bit amount of widgeons, up there. I think last year I might have shot 80 widgeons out of my blind in Arkansas last year, and I mean that wasn't bad. But most of them widgeons came early, in November and early December. But boy, when you shoot one in January, man, he's all soldiered up, got that pretty cotton top on his
Yeah,
head.
he does, man. The one I killed, that was probably I guess about 6-7 years now where I killed that one. It was a solo Drake widgeon, and I told a story on last episode about it, how that happened. But man, I mean, that was right around, I think it was right after New Year's, in January sometime. And it was beautiful. It was fully plumed. And, man, when I dropped it, I said, that sucker's gone on the wall. I'm with you. I love widgeon, man.
And widgeon, widgeon are a very vocal bird, man. They got that little 3-note,
Yep.
man, and they're a nice bird. And like I said, going back to speaking about Texas, Texas and Oklahoma, man, they shoot a lot of widgeons up in on dry ground on wheat fields. A couple years back, we went to Cherokee, Oklahoma and hunt, and man, we were hunting some lesser Canadas in a wheat field. Man, we were shooting widgeons on dry ground. I mean, coming in big flocks at a time.
Yeah, that's odd because typically we've always known widgeon to be a marsh bird down here,
But it just seems a lot of these birds are headed down that central flyway. And I was even amazed at the number of pintails. But again, when people only hunt in Louisiana and you never hunt nowhere else, you don't know what other states kill,
That's right. Unless you following it, you really don't have that idea. I had a good buddy of mine. He's in our camp. We have a camp together, Jared Hughes. And over the last couple of years, he started going up to Oklahoma. He started hunting Oklahoma a good bit. And he told me, he said, there's a lot of widgeon that they see up there in Oklahoma. Mallards. I mean, they kill mallards. That's a given where they were hunting. And they hunt these little farm ponds, Roland. They get permission from somebody. They go out there and they hunt these little farm ponds. And it's a cow pond, basically, is what it is.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, and that's kind of what we hunted, man. We drove in the middle of a cow field, and they had some willow trees in the middle of a pond, and that's kind of where we set up. One day, we had a mixed bag. We had mallards, widgeon. We had a couple of diving ducks. We shot some green-winged teal, but we didn't go up there to duck hunt. We went up there to shoot Canadas, and like most of the time when I'm traveling, I want to shoot something that I don't normally shoot. In ducks, I shoot ducks every day. Now, if I can get on a good mallard shoot, I'll shoot them. But
yeah,
I like to go shoot Canadas because Canada geese are just something I don't get the opportunity to shoot a lot of. And I love shooting Canadas and watching them hit the ground because, boy, they make a big thump.
I bet they do. It sounds like a sack of potatoes dropping out of the sky, pretty much.
It does.
But go ahead. I'm sorry.
And a lot of times, hunting in Oklahoma, you're not shooting big Canadas. You're shooting lessers and cacklers. So a cackler is about the size of a mallard, a little bit bigger, and then you're shooting these lessers. Lessers are pretty nice sized bird.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
Man, when you shoot them and it's dusty, they hit the ground, man. You see the dust fly.
Yeah, that's got to be pretty cool. Growing up, goose hunting, my experience goose hunting, we used to, I grew up in Evangeline Parish, and my parents, where they lived off of Highway 167, we had Miller's Lake, which was a lease lake for duck hunting. It's a family-owned and operated lake. And we used to creep those geese in the fields, Rolling. We'd literally get on our stomachs, and we would crawl through the mud in the fields, and we shoot geese that way. And man, I remember that was such a good time that we had doing it. But I've never had the experience to really go out and hunt in a lay down blind like you see on TV, that type of stuff. And that's just something I'd like to do. I want to do that. That's on my bucket list.
Oh man, it's fun. Like I said, I hope every year, man, that I get the opportunity to go to Oklahoma and Kansas. I want to go to Nebraska. I'd love to go to Utah. I mean, there's so many places. I'd love to get out on the Pacific coast and hunt ducks, like California, Washington, and Oregon, places like that. And I'd love to, just shoot birds that you don't, typically shoot in the in the flyway, man. But things are looking good, man. It's promising, I'm getting fired up, blowing duck calls and getting my duck calls tuned, speck calls tuned, getting ready to go, getting clothes packed, and just getting ready to start, hunting. I mean, I'm ready for next weekend, man. I've been speckled bellies of what I love to hunt. And I'm fired up by shooting them specks next weekend. I've been hearing specks every day I've been here, and I'm sitting down right now. I'm watching a couple hundred of them cross the highway, man. And I just love hearing them speckled bellies.
Man, I'm so jealous because I'm watching you right now. For those of you on YouTube watching us, you can see Roland. He's sitting on wherever he's sitting on the third floor at Dave's Bayou right now. You can see you overlooking a rice field, man. That's got to be a pretty good view.
Is there a way to change the camera view and I can show you the what I'm seeing?
Let me see. I got it, man. Let me see, Roland. Let me see here. For those of watching on YouTube, let's see if we could. I don't know if I can
my camera. If I can change my camera view to where I can show you, I'll show you what the third floor looks like going.
I think you'd have to turn your camera around, Roland, because on our end it's just going to show towards us.
Give me a minute.
I'm on my laptop, so it's a little different for me.
Let me see if I can change.
And guys, bear with us. We for those of you on YouTube, this will be beneficial if Roland can show you this. But Roland, I can definitely tell while you messing with that. I can definitely tell that you got a little bit more pep in your step this week.
Look,
yeah,
there you go.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. So yeah, you got a little bit of water in the rice fields. It's looking like
that rice field behind us is just a rest area. We don't hunt that. We flood that just for the customers can watch birds in the afternoon and by the fire and stuff and watch birds roost and stuff.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, that's pretty good view, man. You got right there. That's living the life for sure.
Yeah. And like I said, today I'll probably leave out of here sometime after lunch today. We've got another big group of speckled bellies crossing over there, but we got a little bit of blind brushing this morning to do and stuff like that, and get all this done. But yeah, man, I'm fired up. I'm ready for next week to shoot them speckled bellies, and it's definitely getting that time of year, Jacob.
It is. I could tell. I don't know if you heard me when you were trying to turn the camera around, but I could definitely tell you got a little pep in your step. You're getting close.
I live for these 60 days. These 60 days are what I live for every year.
That's awesome, man. I think we all like that, Roland. All of us that have it in our blood, man. It's something you cannot explain to people who don't hunt,
And God has blessed me with an ability and, put the right people in my life to let me live the dream that I've always wanted to live. Growing up as a kid, man, reading for industry magazines and reading about all these people that hunt ducks everywhere, man, it's been a blessing of mine just to run around and get to hunt different places and meet the people I've met that's helped me get to where I'm at today.
Yep. And that's what it's all about, relationships, man. Good people have good things happen to them, and I firmly believe that. I'll try to live my life by that, teach my boys that way. It's you treat people right, and you're going to have good things and blessings in your life come to you for sure. So, well, hey, off the wall question, Earl. You talked about, when you're a kid. What's the first shotgun, waterfowl shotgun Roland Cortez ever had?
Man, I had a 410 Stevens crack barrel that my grandpa gave me when I shot my first 2 ducks with.
410 Stevens. Go try finding some 410 shells right now, Roland.
Man, I ain't even going to look because people are asking me for 410 shells.
Man, I need 410. I bought Jackson a 410 a couple of years ago because he wanted a waterfowl hunt with a 410. He was asking me for one. I bought him one, and I can't find ammunition hardly anywhere for it. And I've looked online and this and that. Or if you do find it, they want $60 a box for 410 shells.
I'm pretty good on ammo right now. Like I said, I've been buying everything that I can find, and Bayou has a pretty good supply up here for our customers and for us. So we're looking pretty good. You know, Simmons has a lot of ammo right now, so you may have to travel a little bit. But man, when I find ammo, I'm trying to stockpile at least 5 cases.
Yeah, and I'm blessed. I've stockpiled through the years, so I'm not real short on steel shot ammunition for sure. But I had a squirrel hunting this year. I had a little trouble finding lead. I don't stockpile lead like I did do it still.
I had trouble too, but I had 4 or 5 boxes from last year, and I ended up picking up some more. But this year, my biggest goal, man, is I'm going to hunt with my 20 gauge this year. I want to shoot ducks and specks with my 20 gauge this year. That's all I'm going to hunt with is my 20. So I've kind of been buying a lot of ammo for my 20 gauge instead of my 12.
So you've been able to find some 20 gauge as far as steel goes and all that?
I've been having the order. I ordered me a case of Boss bismuth, and then I ordered me a case of Apex performance steel shot. So I got a little bit of mixture here, but so I'm looking forward to shooting the 20 gauge all year, and I'm going to pick up more 20 gauge when I can. When I go back to Simmons, I'm going to pick up a case of Federal Blue Box 20 gauge, steel shot, just to have an extra case,
Well, if you could do me a favor, whenever you come across a box of 20 gauge bismuth, pick me one up. I would really appreciate it. I'll pay you for it because I don't know if you heard this, but I picked up a 20 gauge that I want to hunt with. It's a 1928 Ithaca Nitro Lefevre Special that I picked up at a pawn shop I come across earlier this year. And when the guy who owned the pawn shop, he knew it was an older Ithaca. And I was kind of familiar with the Lefevre Nitro Specials, just a cool old gun. But then whenever I ran the serial number on that thing, I realized it was from 1928. So that's a gun that I want to make at least one hunt with this year, and I need to get bismuth for that because obviously can't shoot steel in that thing.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I've been doing, and I'll probably run by Max next weekend and see what they got up there and look at some duck calls and whatever else I can maneuver up there. I'll probably go to Richmond Tone and see what's happening up there. But man, next weekend is just gonna be fun. Just shooting speckled bellies, hanging around with Don DeBue and Martha Spencer with Bayou Wild TV, and just having a good time. But I'm just looking forward to blowing that speck call next weekend.
You ready to get going? So when's the show? I know Bayou Wild, you said, is going to be featured on there. When's the show going to air for everybody to be able to watch?
Well, if you go on YouTube right now, you can pick up season 6, which we shot a TV show with Don last year, Bayou Wild TV. But this one here is going to be season 7, so it'll probably come on probably later this year, maybe January or something like that. I'm not quite sure when this is going to air, but if everybody keeps posted on my social media platforms, they'll probably catch pictures and stuff like that from it.
Yep. Hey, yeah, I saw season 6, and that was a great show to watch. A lot of action going on, so that was really, really good. And now you mentioned, I know you have a big fascination with duck calls and speck calls and goose calls, and that's something we didn't even talk about with everybody last time. You said you told me after, you said we could talk about that. I could do a whole show on that. So your fascination with duck calls and goose calls, how did you? I know you've done some competition calling. For those of the guys listening right now to the show, kind of touch on your history as far as competition calling and your fascination with duck calls and goose calls.
Everything that I've ever accomplished, guiding and hunting, man, it all started with me learning how to blow a duck call. When I was younger, man, I was just fascinated by a duck call, learning how to blow one. And probably about maybe 95, I started blowing in some local contests, just little meat stuff. Got my butt kicked a little bit because I kind of didn't know what I was doing. But once I got figured out on how to build a routine up, man, I started, placing in contests. I started winning some, and then moved up to the big league. Started blowing in Main Street. And Main Street, I kind of struggled with a little bit till I met a guy called Butch Richenbach, from the owner and founder of Richmond Tone Duck Call. And Man, he pushed me to the point to where, you know, I went to Maryland, won some regionals in a few different states, and I've the closest I've ever come to the world, I was 16th in the world, you know, blowing in Stuttgart back in 2013, 2014. And kind of after that, you know, Bush passed away in 2015, and I kind of just lost the interest in it, which in Main Street. But I started blowing in what's called now there's another one called a cut down contest, which the World Cut Down. The World Cut Down, I've done really good in. Being from South Louisiana, we don't know nothing about no cut down call.
No, no, I was about to say.
I picked up a cut down and blew in my first cut down contest and took fifth. And I mean, I was second runner up in 2019.
Wow.
And first runner up, you know, through the World Cut Down. And I haven't blown any since because I've kind of done everything that I've set out to do. You know, I mean, I've won probably 30 contests over the years, and I've placed in a number of contests. And I just enjoy contest calling. I enjoy judging. And right now, I'm all about teaching people how to blow a duck call, you know, how to sound like a duck and judge duck calling contests. You know, I was asked to judge the gate on duck calling contest today, but
okay,
I had to come up here, and I really couldn't make it. But I enjoy judging, you know, duck and goose calling contests, and I enjoy you know, teaching people, especially kids, man, how to blow a duck call, because, you know, growing up, I didn't really have any. My grandpa and my dad, they really didn't blow duck calls. We just hunted ducks, you know. Nobody really blew a duck call back then.
You didn't have to.
No, you didn't have to. But, you know, nowadays, you know, I just love teaching, especially kids, man, how to blow a duck call, man. And I enjoy seeing that fire in a kid's eye when he learns how to make that first quack on his duck call. But man, duck calls and goose calls are just my fascination. I just love making sounds with them. I love the way, you know, you can manipulate the sound or sound like what you're hunting, man. You know, you're speaking the language.
Yeah.
And you know, watch. I want to show you. This is really my hunting land. You know, from all the years. You know.
Okay.
I got an old duck commander whistle that I've been having forever.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think everybody got one of them on their lanyard right now.
I blow hell, I got my bag of goodies. I'm trying to find. I may not have brought it up. No, I guess I didn't. Might be in my truck somewhere, but you know, I've got a bunch of different, you know, calls that I like to blow. But
so, Roland, for you were talking about teaching, you enjoy teaching kids how to start blowing duck calls and stuff like that. If you could give a father who's listening to the show, whose son's maybe getting into waterfowl hunting, who wants to teach them at a young age, what's a good call for a child to start out with?
You know, there are two types of duck calls. There's a single reed duck call, and there's a double reed duck call. You know, a double reed is pretty much what everybody's kind of started on. I started on double reed, which I started on a Duck Commander, and I started on a Haydale DR85. A Haydale DR85 has probably killed more ducks than the avian flu. And with a DR85, and I recommend it, it's a double reed, but some people don't like a double reed because, you know, you can make more sound out of a single reed than you can out of a double. But a double reed, the duck's already built in. All you got to do is put the air in. A single reed, you have to put the duck in it.
Okay.
Here, watch. I'll just show you this. See, this is an Echo XLT. I like this call because it's more of a mid-range call. And here, it's a single reed duck call. You just put the air in it. You blow some warm air and you go.
Yeah.
I don't have a double reed on me, but a double reed, the duck's, you know, built in. If you don't put the duck in, all you get is. And if you put the duck,
yeah,
the duck comes out. But a double reed's a little different. You know, you put your air in, and the duck, you know, blow some warm air, and then it comes out.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much. If I was a father looking to buy a kid a duck call, I'd get him a DR85, and I'd get him an old whistle. You can't go wrong with a whistle, man. It's easy to blow. You can make all kind of calls with this, and you cannot go wrong with a whistle, man.
Nope. Pintail, widgeon, teal. It kind of, you know, mallard. It kind of covers everything. A whistle is a great a great investment, I think. And hell, you can pick them up for $5 at your local sporting goods store.
You can go to Walmart, get you a Duck Commander, a green one for like $6 at Walmart, man, and a kid will have a blast. You can't go wrong with it, no matter what he does on it. He can do. It still sounds like a bird. It doesn't scare birds.
That's right.
Like a mallard. It's not like a mallard call.
Okay, so don't put down that lanyard yet. For all of the guys watching on YouTube, is that your lanyard that you hunt with throughout the season?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so what's on Roland Cortez's lanyard right now before duck season kicks up? Show us what you got.
I've got an Echo XLT single reed. I've got a Duck Commander whistle, and then I've got my little dog whistle.
Little dog whistle. So basically 2 calls you got on the lanyard. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, now I have other lanyards. Like I said, I always carry a gray duck call. Duck Commander, I've got probably the first one that kind of come out back in '96. I carried a gray duck call, a mallard drake, but I don't like having all them duck calls on my lanyard, man. I just like having. That's it. I just like putting this on my neck, and I got one duck call. I may have another one. Like I said, I may add another duck call because my other go-to call must be in my truck.
You ain't got enough room on that lanyard because all that country boy bling you got hanging off of that thing. That's your problem.
Oh man, I've got some more now. This lanyard now, like I said, some of these bands on here I've killed, and then some of them come from my dad and my grandpa. You know, when
that's pretty cool.
I've got 10 bands that I've killed on here, and then the rest, I think there's 22 on here, and then I have several more at home that are on birds. But so, like I said, I've got 3 generations of bands on here, and you know, speaking of bands, I've got one on here that I've shot in 2003. It was a mallard drake. It was banded in 1982.
Wow!
In Michigan, this bird was like. This mallard duck was 23 years old. Imagine how many times that duck has made it to Louisiana and not get shot.
That's amazing, Roland. What's the oldest? I don't know if I've ever heard of one that old that's been killed and banded that they know of. I mean, what's the oldest bird you've ever come across that you've heard of?
I mean, there are Canada geese and there are canvasbacks, you know, that make it up to 30 years old.
Damn. I didn't realize that. That's amazing, man. To make it down that many times, that's an educated bird by the time they eventually harvest it, I guess, huh?
You know, last year I didn't. Usually the blind that I was hunting in Arkansas, I shoot anywhere from 5 to 7 bands a year. But last year, I didn't kill none out of my blind, and on the farm that I hunted, I think there was only 3 or 4 bands that were killed. Guiding, we see a lot of bands come through it because we hunting every day. You kill enough numbers of birds, but yeah. I think on a good year, all the guides, we'll probably shoot 14. Well, the customers to shoot, 14, 15 birds. I don't get the opportunity to kill that many bands anymore because I'm not really hunting for myself anymore. And then, so most of the bands that do get killed, they're for the customers.
Yeah. You want to make sure their experience is good.
That's right. I mean, I'm not the type of guy to where, I take the bands, they hunt, they pay for the hunt. It's their band. They figure out what they do with the band when it's killed. That's
right. That's probably the way to do it, man. You'll keep them coming back and happy. They'll be asking for you.
I think on here I've got mallards, mottled ducks, wood ducks, teal, pintail, then I got 2 speckle belly bands on here. I don't have any snow bands. I've seen some snow bands and Ross bands, but I ain't had the opportunity to get my hands on one yet.
Gotcha. Well, look,
now,
go ahead.
Most of these bands come from Louisiana. I've got some that I've killed in Virginia. I got it in Virginia for a year. I shot 4. I actually personally shot 4 bands in Virginia, man. I was impressed. I shot 2 Canada geese, and then I shot a mallard duck, and I shot a ringneck that had a band on it.
So Virginia was pretty good to you, in other words.
Yeah, man, Virginia was a different ball game. Growing up and hunting the Mississippi Flyway and then going hunt the Atlantic Flyway, you don't see the numbers of ducks. If you see 100 ducks in the morning up there, you've seen a lot of ducks, but most of the ducks you're shooting up there, most of the ducks you see you're killing is what I'm saying. So if you see 20 ducks in the morning, you'll probably kill 20 ducks.
Really? Yeah, I don't think of Virginia when you think duck waterfowl hunting and duck hunting.
No, I didn't think about it either. Lots of Canada geese up there, man. But and the duck hunting was pretty good. Just a lot of local ducks, a lot of mallards. pretty much what you shoot. Mallards and black ducks. I went up there to shoot black ducks. I didn't kill a black duck, but I shot everything but a black duck.
Really? So they have a wide variety of species then?
Yeah, but it was mostly mallards we were shooting, man. That's pretty much what you shot every day on the creek with mallards. Mallards and Canada geese.
Canada geese. You know what's funny? I know you have a passion for Canada geese, and those of you listening, you can tell Roland has a place in his heart for Canadas. But a lot of people don't know this, but Louisiana, years ago, 100 years ago, Roland, we talking, Canada geese were actually a bird that we had thousands of them would come down here and winter down here in Louisiana. And what was the deal with I know, I'm sure it relates to every other opinion that we talk about when we say why we don't have as many birds as we used to. But what, in your opinion, kind of changed that and drove those birds to other areas? Is it habitat?
Corn in the refuge system.
What's that? Say it again.
Corn, ethanol, corn, and the refuge system. You know.
Okay.
Back in if you read the book called Waterfowl of Louisiana, if you get that book, it'll tell you everything you need to know about, short stopping, about what happened to the state of Louisiana. You look at pictures back from 1920, they're shooting hundreds of Canada geese in Venice.
Yep.
And I don't think I've ever seen a wild Canada goose in Louisiana. Most of the Canada geese you see are park geese. They're residents.
Yep. Yeah, resident geese that stay here year round.
But so much has changed, man. They short-stopped the Canada geese from coming. I mean, Illinois don't even get them like they used to. Canada geese are staying so far north, and same things happening with mallard ducks. They're just staying as far north as possible.
Yep. Yeah. And that could be a whole debate that we talk about on why all that stuff's happening. But we're getting close to an hour. I appreciate your time, Roland. But I want to ask a couple of more questions. I had somebody that chimed in and told me to ask you. They wanted to know. I told them you were going to be on the show this week, and it's one of the younger guys. He listens to the show on a weekly basis, and he asked me. He said, "Ask you what shotgun." It was two questions. The one I already asked you was, what was your first shotgun you had? You talked about a Stevens 410, and what shotgun do you currently waterfowl hunt? Because he's looking to buy a semi-automatic shotgun. So he wanted me to ask you that.
My gun of choice is I shoot a first generation Super Black Eagle.
Okay.
So meaning a first generation, meaning it's not the H&K.
Yep.
Is the first Benelli generation of a Super Black. Now, everybody says, "Well, man, why you shoot a Super Black?" I shoot a Super Black Eagle because me being a guide and being a hunter, I want a gun that's going to perform every day, no matter what condition. And my Benelli shotgun goes bang every time I pull the trigger.
Amen. I'm with you on that.
Now, my second gun of choice, if you can find one, is a Winchester Super X3. If you can find one.
Super X3.
It's a variable Alba shotgun. If you can find one, I'm looking for one now. If I can find one for a backup, that's gonna be my backup shotgun. But man, I just love my Super Black Eagle, and I love that, them H&Ks and them first generation ones, just because they're the original ones. They're made a lot better than the ones are today, in my opinion.
Yeah, I remember that they impossible to find nowadays. That was some of the best shotguns Benelli ever made. And the Super X3, I remember, back in the day when the Super X3 came out, super reliable, excellent platform that gun was built on. And you're right, Roland, you don't see them used anymore, hardly come up available.
The Benelli is an inertia gun. It's a recoil gun, and the Winchester is a gas gun. And man, that Winchester is smooth. It shoulders perfectly for me, and I'm hoping to find one in the pawn shop somewhere, or a good used one, because that's gonna be my second runner-up for my Benelli.
Okay, so we know what gun he's shooting now. Other question that I got was to ask you was wildlife management areas, Louisiana. What's some of the best, in your opinion, in the state right now that's still producing some birds? As far as what you would recommend, this guy. This was from Jeremy. Jeremy sent me this, and he asked me to ask you this. He listens to the show, and he said, I'm looking to stay mobile this year, public land. He said, ask Roland I know he don't have maybe a bunch of experience right now. He said lately hunting public. I said, no, he does. He hunts public. He said, but wildlife management areas, ask him, where should I be going this upcoming duck season, or that he can maybe help me out with?
Man, I said I'll probably get bashed for it by telling some of my spots, but
you don't have to get too specific.
I definitely look at the Venice area.
Venice.
I definitely look around the Houma area for some public land, and Margaret City. Stick around the coast. And if you wanted to venture north, I'd look around the Monroe area and stuff like that. I hate to tell people my spots, man.
Yeah, hey, I'm with you. And like I said, we don't need to get specific spots, just general. But Venice, I mean, Roland, in your opinion, Venice probably number one, correct? Hands down?
Man, along the coast, yeah.
Yeah, along the coast. Gotcha. I got you. I would agree with that. I think year after year, if you're able to go down to Venice, Louisiana,
it's a dangerous place to go. Now, I prefer a first timer to go with a guide.
Yeah, I would too.
Good guys. If anybody's looking to go to Venice and don't want to take the chance or the first time, some friends of mine, Limitless Waterfowl out of Venice, they run a good guide service, man. They kill a lot of ducks on some private property in the Venice area.
And what's that name again? Say it again, Roland. What's the name of it?
Limitless Waterfowl out of Venice.
Okay.
Good friends of mine, Kevin Drury and Pat and Brad, they run a great operation down there. They all hunt all private land in Venice. They shoot a lot of ducks. If somebody wants to go down there, not looking to pull a boat for the first time or just looking to get on a good hunt, man, they're very reasonable in the price. So I look at them before venturing out alone going to Venice.
All right, so Jeremy, I know you listen, and Limitless Waterfowl out of Venice, Louisiana, and if you need to get in touch with those guys, if you're interested in possibly booking a trip with them, hit me up again and let me know, and I'll get you in touch with Roland and the guys over there down in Venice. But that was my suggestion to him, Roland. I told him, I said, if I had to pick any place public land that's a wildlife management area, I'd go down to Venice, Louisiana, if you have the access to it. But I agree with you too. Very, very dangerous. If you don't have experience down there, it's not something you just want to be jumping in the Mississippi River and running up and trying to find some spots. You need to have somebody with some experience, because every year, tragically, we hear stories of people losing their lives down there that just aren't prepared for the conditions down there. So,
Venice is a dangerous place, man.
It could be very dangerous.
I recommend anybody that attempts to go down there, I definitely go with a guide first, or go with somebody that knows the area. Yep. Man, that river is treacherous, it's dangerous, and I just recommend that for the first time.
Yep. I agree with you on that. So, well, Roland, look, buddy, I'm gonna let you get out of here. I know y'all got some blinds to brush, and you're gonna be heading back home, I think. So you got to hit the road. So I just want to thank you for being on the show with us again, man. I know we talked about you coming on throughout the season. We're going to give everybody some updates once we get this whole thing kicked off. And I want to wish y'all good luck next weekend, man. I know y'all going to have a big weekend and have lots of fun. So good luck, and thank you.
I'm looking forward to it, too. Like I said, I'll send you some pictures next week and give you a report from up there. And if you make another podcast, you can put it on there. And if anybody wants to follow me, I've got Facebook, all my social media platforms are there. They can hit me up on there if they got any other questions, duck calling tips, duck calling help, duck reports. I mean, I'm more than willing to help anybody that wants to pick up information from me.
That's right. Roland's very active on social media like we are. He's posting every day on Instagram, on Facebook. So if you have any questions at all, especially all the guys who are beginner hunters, you're kind of shy. I find that a lot of the beginners, they're shy to ask questions, especially in their group of guys that they hunt with, because they don't want to look like they don't know it. Hey, hit us up, hit Roland up, let us know, and we'd be glad to help everybody out. So, Roland, anything else? Go ahead.
And with the technology today, man, if anybody wants to, learn how to blow a duck call, I mean, with this video chat stuff, I mean, I can video chat them from anywhere in the country and teach them how to blow a duck call over the phone, So
that's right.
Like I said, I'm if anybody wants to learn, I'm more than willing to teach anybody. Like I said, I'm very humble. I'm not afraid to help anybody, and I'm always willing to learn new things as it goes too. So, but if anybody needs any help or anything, questions, or whatever, they can sure hit me up on social medias, and I'll be willing to help them in any way I can or form. But Jacob, hopefully we can get together and put your son on some birds this year for the youth hunt. I'm going to try my best till we can line up a hunt. I'm not too. I think I'm going to be up here for. We're putting on a big youth hunt up at Dave's Bayou.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk to the owners and see maybe how many people we have. Hell, I may be able to get y'all up here and do the youth hunt up here.
Oh, he'd be ecstatic about that. I promise you. So I appreciate that. And if not, we'll work something else out. We're going to definitely make a hunt this year. Roland and I talked, and we said we're going to get together. We're going to hunt this year. And we're going to do a podcast from the duck blind like we did last year, guys. So I think that would be cool. Hopefully you guys would enjoy that. Doing a live podcast from the duck blind whenever we hunt this year. So looking forward to that. We're going to make that happen for everybody who listens to the show. So, well, yep. Roland, thank you, man. I appreciate you being on.
Jacob, thank you, bro. I can't thank you enough for letting me come on this podcast and talk about what I do in my life and everything else. And man, I'm just humble. And like I keep telling everybody, I'm just living the dream. But if anybody wants to get a hold of me, Jacob, I'll put my phone number out there. If anybody wants to book a hunt, anybody wants to do something, you can give me a call at 985-414-4997. And like I said, if I don't answer, just leave a message and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. But it could be anybody, anything, or just talking ducks. I love talking ducks. But man, I'm just humble, Jacob, to do what I do, man. And I appreciate you letting me come on here and tell my story, man.
Man, like anytime.
I'll say it again. I'm just living the dream.
Living the dream. That's right. Hey, we'll have you on anytime, Roland. You're welcome anytime. So thank you so much, man. And we'll see you. I guess we'll get a report from you next week, man. We'll see how it all goes down.
Yes, sir, Jacob. Look, man, you have a good Sunday today, and I'm going to get out there and brush some blinds and look at some birds.
That's right. You go take care of it, man. Thank you, Roland. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Jacob. Have a good one, man.
You too, buddy. Well, guys, that's it for this week's show. I hope you guys enjoyed all of our conversations with Mr. Roland Cortez. He is up at Dave's Bayou and Lodge up in North Louisiana. I mean, what a place, huh? That place is absolutely phenomenal. For those of you watching us on YouTube, on our channel, you guys got to see kind of the surroundings while we were on air with Roland. And just an awesome setup, man. So anybody looking to make take a world-class waterfowl hunting trip and that may be interested in doing it for a business or a bachelor party or just a group of friends who want to get out and make a memories, making a phenomenal hunt, get in touch with us, guys. We'll put you in touch with Roland. You got the phone number on how to reach him, and we'll get you in touch with him. You can book something up at Dave's, or we can book a trip with Roland and get you guys out on some public land, possibly hunting, and go out with a good guy who has a ton of waterfowl knowledge from what you guys have heard him talk about, and just a good dude in general, man, just a good guy. So hit us up. We'll put you in contact with them. But more importantly, guys, I hope y'all all enjoyed the podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Last Stop Waterfowl Outdoors. And this is Jacob. That's all I have for this week, guys. We'll do it again next week. Until next time, y'all visit us on social media. In the meantime, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Check us out. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube, hit that like button, and hit that share button. We'd appreciate it, guys. Y'all take care. See you again next week.